them work better.
We got breaking news for you in the Dr. MacNeill murder trial. We're waiting now for his mistress, we're told, the infamous gypsy, to take the stand. And boy, it could be saucy. Just last hour, we learned that his youngest daughter, Ada, will testify in front of the jury. You'll remember little Ada was just 6 years old when she found her mom's lifeless body in that bathtub. But there is a catch.
The court grants in part and denies in part defendant's motion to exclude the testimony of the child witness.
Basically, the judge said that Ada, now 12, has been influenced by her big sister, Alexis. So the jury will hear taped interview with Ada, but she'll only take the stand for cross-examination and redirect. John, explain this to us. What's the theory or the strategy here?
It's unusual. You know, basically direct's going to be done by her videotape testimony so as to preserve it before all this influence hit. They're trying to get to what she thought before the psychiatrist and the sister and all of that possibly tainted her testimony. So then, off of the videotape, the defense is going to get to cross-examine, and then the state can redirect off of the video, off of the cross-examination, off of the videotape.
How odd is that?
It is odd, it is unorthodox, and it's not good for the prosecution. Because if you're the prosecution, this interview happened around 2009, you've waited all these years to ask her so many questions. You want to humanize her on the stand, get the jury to get to know her. Can't do that as well on a videotape. Then the cross, the defense can go wherever they want based on that videotape, and then the prosecution on redirect is limited by the scope of the cross. So it ties the prosecution's hands with one of the biggest witnesses in this case.
Well, Rachel MacNeill is the oldest daughter of Martin and Michelle MacNeill, and we've got video of her on the stand from yesterday recalling the moment that she met the mistress, Gypsy Willis.
You recognize what that is?
Yes.
And what is that?
That's Gypsy Jillian Willis. We were sitting outside on this bench, and she came from the parking area. She said, "Oh, I'm so sorry for your loss. I was at the funeral." My father said, "Oh, thank you. What's your name? I'm sorry." "Oh, she said, "Oh, my name is Jillian." My father had her move in as the nanny. She didn't do anything that I'd seen related to the children. I expected her to be focused on the children, to cook or clean or take care of the children. My dad was cooking. She was sitting there staring at my dad. She's just goo eyes at my dad and wasn't doing anything a nanny would do. The children were taking care of themselves, or Ada was left alone. She's running down this sidewalk. I mean, there was nobody looking after the children.
Well, we now know that Gypsy was much more than a nanny. I mean, she's the mistress here, and the reason folks are saying he killed his wife.
That's right. And Rachel on the stand, very emotional, but is the jury going to read that as erratic? They didn't have any questions about her mental state. That's a good sign for the prosecution.
We're going to take a quick break. You're watching live coverage, full coverage, rather, of the Martin MacNeill murder trial here on HLN. We've got more right after the break. All right, we want to take you right to the live pictures inside the courtroom. We are waiting for the infamous mistress, Gypsy Willis, to take the stand. But first, we're joining live testimony from Provo with retired toxicologist Gary Dawson.
Generally, yes. Okay. Given all of these factors, actually, a couple more I'd like to discuss with you.
Don't discuss any subject of the trial with each other or with anyone else. Don't form or express any opinion about the case. Avoid television, radio.
Okay, they're taking about a minute break here from the toxicologist, Gary Dawson. Do we talk about that, Ryan, John, Christy, or do we talk about the fact that we're waiting for Gypsy Willis to get onto the stand?
This is just the toxicologist.
Can we show the video of her running again? Because that was...
Yeah, oh, that's
How
true. We
about
should probably
that?
explain that video. Do we have, I don't know, can we bring that video up real quickly? Gypsy Willis, the mistress. We had this video in a tease. Okay, it's coming up in a minute. And you see her running away. We should probably explain she was running from reporters, right?
Outside the courthouse.
Yeah, there it is right here.
There
she didn't
she
want to
goes.
talk to anybody. Well,
I don't know who that is with her.
No,
Run, Gypsy,
She's
run.
going to have to talk when she takes the stand.
Right, and it's going to be interesting to see how the jury reacts to her after hearing from the daughter, because you saw that daughter as soon as she saw the picture of Gypsy. I mean, the disdain was there.
Well, you are going to see all the live coverage just on the other side of the break.
6 Eastern.
Just even showing me and talking about the autopsy consult, I just bloody mess of everything that was thrown in the garage. How dare you show me those things? Get rid of it. That's Gypsy, Jillian, Willis. I didn't want to know. And my mom was dead. And I was concerned about my family. And I didn't want to hear all that stuff.
It was such emotional testimony yesterday. That was Rachel MacNeill. She's talking about a relationship with her dad, finding the bloody clothes her mother was wearing. You saw she had gloves on because she had to take it out. And also talked about the way her father behaved shortly after her mother's death. Of course, Martin's mistress, Gypsy, was also the root of much of her emotion on the stand yesterday. And it's today that we should hear from Gypsy.
Right, and this is the witness we have been waiting for since the very beginning. You know, every day, when we do HLN After Dark...
She's going to turn against her lover and say...
Well, that's the key.
He killed that woman for me.
To me, that's the key. I was going to say, every time we do After Dark, every single night a juror is saying to me, can you tell me for sure that Gypsy didn't have something to do with it? She has an alibi, but a lot of people think that she in some way was involved. But here's the thing. In the preliminary hearing, she took the stand, and at one point she was smiling at him, and someone said something about that, and she said, oh, it's just been a while since I've seen him. I wonder, prosecution witness, she's up there to testify against him, but you can testify, and John, you could speak to this. Sometimes you'll see a witness in court testifying, and that witness will sound a lot like they're testifying for the defense. I wonder how far she will go, how emphatic she will go about her relationship with him. Because her point is, look, I just got involved with a guy. I thought it was fun. I had nothing to do with all this other stuff. We had a couple plans, but I didn't have anything to do with this.
You saw some of that in Trayvon's case, where you thought the witnesses were going to be a lot more favorable for the state, and then they were renegade, and it was defense witness and defense witness and defense witness, and that might be what happens here. I just hate to see it play out. It's so tragic.
You know, you keep talking about the prosecution having somewhat of a weak case legally here within the legal plan. Is there anything that what do you think they want to extract from her?
Oh, they want to get from her the relationship. She is the motive. That is the key. She is the motive. It was their, according to the prosecution, their love that made Martin MacNeill take the life of his wife. That was the only way he was going to get her in that house. And everything fits together if you think about it like that. Okay, mom is gone. Let's introduce her as the nanny.
What do we know
now
about
she comes in the house. She's there with me.
What do we know about her? We're looking at new video, by the way, of her arriving in court. There's that kind of smile.
Right.
And, I mean, you know, what do we know? Is she manipulative? Is she smart? Was she ever a nanny? I mean, what do we know about this woman?
She wasn't a nanny. She wasn't taking care of these kids. I mean, she was there to be with him. The other thing is
Does she have a life? Was she doing anything of, I mean, what was going on with her before
Well, they first met on Craigslist, and they got connected like that. I think through some sort of online connection, and they got together over time. But their relationship developed very quickly. He had her in a place. He was putting her up for a while, and then this
Was she even working?
Gypsy might have been apropos. We don't know really what she did.
Really, we don't know anything about her background at all.
Don't you think, though, that it's weird, and I wonder how the jury will look at her. Here's this woman saying, look, I just got involved with him. I didn't know. But you just got involved with a man who clearly his wife just died. His children are grieving, and he's bringing you into this scenario under false pretenses that you're a nanny. If you know that as a... How much credibility is she going to hold?
Not a lot, but you bring up a great point. This was not a relationship that developed after the fact. This was a relationship that was going on for a while. And then she dies, and then Gypsy participates in the plan to be in the house and be the nanny and be close to him. So what does that sound like? And I wonder, as the jury hears her words, they start thinking, did she have some influence in all of this? In terms of credibility, it depends on how the prosecution structures their case. Well, if their job is just to get out their relationship as the motive, then I think her credibility stands up. If it's more than that, you never know, because she's all over the place.
Well, yesterday on After Dark, you guys took a closer look at the testimony of the doctor's oldest daughter, Rachel, who we were hearing from, where she talked about how her family first met Gypsy.
That's Gypsy, Jillian Willis. We were sitting outside on this bench, and she came from the parking area. She said, "Oh, I'm so sorry for your loss. I was at the funeral." My father said, "Oh, thank you. What's your name? I'm sorry." "Oh, she said, "Oh, my name is Jillian."
This whole nanny scam is the linchpin of the prosecution's case. It's the motive.
Absolutely. Vinny, if anyone has any doubt that he staged the crime scene, look at the way he staged this meeting with the nanny just 2 days after the funeral. He insists his daughter meet him at the temple, the most spiritual place in the Mormon religion, to pray about finding a nanny. And who does he have walk up? His mistress. He pretends he doesn't know her name or her phone number.
Wait. What do I hear from the defense?
If the prosecution's theory of this case is true, it's just as likely that Gypsy is the killer and not Dr. MacNeill.
Gypsy is the reason why Dr. MacNeill killed his wife.
Gypsy is the killer?
Well, she can't be because she has an alibi, and she was actually in a car on her way, I believe, to Salt Lake City. But involvement, who knows? You know what I think is interesting, where the defense is going to go with all this? Because the defense's theory is kind of like, you ever hear the phrase, if it ain't broke, don't fix it?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. We
So he
always
had
say
the
it.
affair. Everything was going fine. He was dating Gypsy. Yes, his wife was finding out. Maybe that's a problem. But for them, why would he change that situation? Why would he kill his wife than to have her in if they were already maintaining that relationship?
All right, we are waiting for the testimony that everybody's talking about. The mistress, Gypsy Willis, expected to take the stand. We're going to press play, get you back into testimony right now. Retired toxicologist Gary Dawson is on the stand. Actually, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with more.